Welcome. I just want to do an update, share with y'all what's going on in my world, in my life. Kind of give you a health update. I know a lot of you have been following me for a while and know all about it. Those of you that haven't, I have a lot of autoimmune issues and chronic pain and GI issues, a lot of health issues. So, going all the way back to when I was 19 years old, I stopped. I was an athlete in high school, so I worked out all the time. My parents did a really good job of making sure we had a balanced diet. So my mom always made a big salad, and we had vegetables, meat, and veg, I guess. And so I wouldn't say we ate the healthiest, but we didn't eat unhealthy. But my mom was all about a well-balanced diet. I went from that to doing missionary work where we ate a lot of pizza and frozen lasagna, and I got crazy sick. I started randomly. I kind of always had GI issues, and I can't have gluten. I'm allergic. Didn't know that. I was raised in the 80s before everybody was gluten-free, so I just would get sick most holidays. Hindsight, I have other stuff, but when I was 19, I stopped keeping food down. I just started vomiting all the time. First, it was just big meals, and then it was every time I ate, and I started losing weight, and it was really bad. I am almost 5'9". I'm a tall woman. I got down to 100 pounds. It was really, really sad. A friend of mine could put his hands around my waist and was like, "You need help." And I'm like, "I'll be fine. I'll be fine." Turns out I was not fine. I was in Canada. I was on waiting lists to get treatment, and I was flown home and right away saw doctors. GERD, Barrett's esophagitis. I had a doctor say that he had, so I was 19 at the time, and I was active and fit, and he said that my esophagus looked like a 50 or 60-year-old man that was overweight and smoked all of his life. I was like, great, thanks. So I've had this journey with food and diet, not to lose weight, but to keep myself healthy. And I've been on tons of prescription medicine, and when we lived in Ireland, my doctor there refused to give me my meds. I was on very strong medication for my stomach issues, and he said, "Nope, you'll be grand." And I was like, "No, you don't understand. I get really sick. You don't understand. And he's like, "Oh, well, you do in America. You'll be grand here." And I started getting sick. Not nearly as bad as I was, but a little bit, stomach pain, vomiting. He gave me apple cider vinegar and was like, "Take a shot of this with water. You'll be fine." And we lived there for 3-4 years. And I wouldn't say I was healthy during that time, but I didn't have the GI stuff as bad. I was pregnant a lot of that time, and I was hospitalized more than I wasn't through pregnancy. I have endometriosis, PCOS, other female health issues. So I dealt with that, but my diet seemed to help me. When we moved we moved from there to Canada, and my health stuff got bad again. And for the most part, if I eat clean, it would always help. Fast forward, so let's see, Peter, my youngest baby, was born in 2014, had him, he almost died. We had a hard time just surviving through that. I suffer from postpartum depression really bad. My body wasn't great, but wasn't horrible. And then a couple years later, I think it was in 2017 or 18, I was pregnant again, which we were really excited about. But then I had a miscarriage, and unfortunately, I was bleeding for a long time. I went to the ER. It had been, 7 or 10 days, and I wasn't able to miscarry at home. I had to have a DNC, but because of all my female issues, someone said it was the perfect storm, and it was when the doctor went in, it was he lit a match and everything just went up in flames. I'd had previous female surgeries for all my female issues, but I got really, really sick, and so I went home maybe a week after the DNC, and it was actually at my daughter's birthday party. She was turning 3 or 4. No, she was turning 5. I was doing a birthday party for a 5-year-old, and a bunch of my friends kind of ganged up on me, and they're like, "Cameron, something is seriously wrong with you. You need to go to the hospital." I'm like, "No, I'm fine." They're like, "Look over there." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "You can't move your neck." I'm like, "I'm fine. I don't feel good, but I'm fine." But I was not fine, and they were very kind to take over the birthday party and send me to the hospital with my husband. But because of all my autoimmune stuff, I didn't run a fever. So yeah, it was a really horrible experience. I was vomiting from pain because they tried to do an internal ultrasound, and I just was very, very sick. But I didn't have a fever, so no one thought I was sick. And then there was another time, I forgot about this, my friend that I was with just recently brought it up, and she brought me to a hospital in Atlanta trying to get help. And they didn't admit me, but the same thing. And she's like, something's really wrong. And a good friend of ours is a pediatrician, and she was texting with her, and she's like, something's really wrong. Bring her to the doctor that did the DNC. So Matt did that. He admitted me. He's like, I don't know what's wrong with you, but you looked better when I had you, and you had been bleeding for 10 days, and you look better then than you do now. So praise you, Jesus. He admitted me. And that night, my white blood cells started dying off. My blood pressure plummeted. And I found myself in the ICU. And so I was in the ICU for, I think, 10 days, kind of fighting for my life. Those of you that have been with me that long through podcasting, I think Matt and I actually did a podcast in the ICU. Thanking you guys for your prayers. So it's not on YouTube, but it was back when it was just the podcast. So you can find it on like your podcast app. But praise God, survived. But once I came out of the ICU, I couldn't walk. And so I had to relearn everything. I had something neurological, but they didn't know what it was. My left side of my body would like go numb sometimes. And then if I tried to walk, like my left hand would start shaking, and then my whole right side of my body would start shaking, and I convulse and I collapse. And it wasn't very pretty. So I was early 30s or mid 30s at this point. And I had to go to a lot of therapy, and my body just really broke. It just really, really broke. And I had to use a walker, relearn how to walk, all these things. And beautiful, wonderful community in Atlanta. I had friends babysitting my kids, babysitting me, driving me to and from places. It was hard. And I would have these flare-ups is what I called them. So sometimes I'd be okay and functioning. And then like my kids would get a cold, they get over it. I would deep dive, be crazy sick. I was living off of IV cocktail, vitamins, minerals. It was the only thing that would give me energy enough to like make it a couple days. And then I'd have these flare-ups. Sometimes it was once a month. Sometimes it was every couple of months. And when we moved to Steubenville, it was just the perfect storm. Moving here, some of y'all are on. I just want to make sure my volume's high enough that you can hear me. Could you write in the comments if I sound good or if I need to be louder? I don't want to be too loud because Matt's recording in the next room, but I think I have the volume all the way up on here. But let me know. Yeah, so I ended up in the, when we moved here. So I struggled with that on and off. There's more to the story, so much more details, but I'm trying to make it, just giving you the short. So when we moved to Steubenville, when we moved here, it was a perfect storm, I guess. And I got really, really sick. So within the first month of us living here, or maybe month and a half, I was hospitalized 3 different times for 3 different reasons. Thank you so much, Tony. 3 different hospitals. So one was, anyhow. But each one was for a different reason. So one was like for really bad GI stuff. Another one was because my blood pressure just plummeted and we couldn't keep it up. And the other time, I don't even remember what it was, but each time, the hospitals like couldn't figure out what was wrong with me until they went to Cleveland Clinic, and then they were good, and they were trying to figure out more, and like, okay, we're gonna come up with a plan. And I've been struggling ever since. But a lot of my issue is I do have EDS, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I have POTS. I have many other things, but those are kind of the main things. But one of the main issues I was having is my joints were constantly popping in and out, and it was like excruciatingly painful. And I got to the point where my doctors, my specialists, gave me a handicap pass and basically said, this is my new normal. And I was not okay with that. I'm like, I can't do this. I need more. I tried to say, praise you, Jesus, and offer it all up through it all. I was on a lot of medication, a lot of different medications for a lot of different things. I would substitute with vitamins and minerals and things. I went through detox programs to detox from Lyme, from mold toxins, from all sorts of stuff. And it was like, okay, my liver would be horrible. We detox that. And then it was my spleen. Anyhow, all this stuff. And I'm using both functional medicine and regular doctors. And then a great doctor that I see in Orlando that really helped me and got me off my really strong pain meds. So I was on gabapentin. I was on 300 milliliters, 300, no, mega, whatever it is, 300. So it was 3 pills 3 times a day. So 900 3 times a day. So it was a lot. It was a lot of pain meds, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the way that it made me feel. And I've tried all different things, and then there's like weird times where it's like I should be healthy, but I'm not. Yeah. And so it's been hard. Multiple people have mentioned to me I should try carnivore. I eat really clean. For the most part, like my diet, I would say I'm more like paleo, keto-ish. I never ever have gluten or soy or corn or I don't know, most grains I don't have because my body doesn't do well with it. And sugar, I've been off sugar for, oh gosh, probably at least 2 years, if not longer. And so I tried carnivore. It was actually during Lent when I tried it last. And I was like, I think it helps a bit, but I was losing weight and I felt frail and it wasn't great. But I did try it. I was in Guatemala for part of that time. And so beef was harder to find, good beef. So I don't know if that's the difference. So this time I've done carnivore again for, I think it's been 3 months, and I just want to share with you that I think it's working. Like I'm feeling better than I have in a really long time. I feel like I'm actually like putting on muscle. I gained weight. So I did lose weight in the beginning, and I was a bit concerned. I eat so much. Like I eat a lot. So, and a lot of fat. I probably average a stick of butter a day. And my average day would be I'd have a good size ribeye. I'd have, like this morning I had like 6 eggs and probably like a chunk this big of butter and a handful of ground beef and some shredded chicken, which I don't normally have, but I'm allowed it. And I had it for dinner last night, so I was just kind of using up leftovers. And then I had a ribeye, and then tonight I'll have like a big roast, and then I have like chunks of like what you would use for like tallow. So it's really just fat, beef fat, and I put it in the air fryer and eat it, and it's delicious, and I love it. And then I will have tea and coffee. I know some carnivores don't have that. My main thing that I find helps me is like beef broth. I do a lot of bone broth, both chicken and beef. Beef broth, butter, and eggs. And I know some people don't like Michaela Peterson's Lion's Diet all the way. And I have days where I do that. I don't know if I notice a difference between those days and days that I have eggs. Cheese, I do notice a difference, unfortunately. I got raw milk and raw cheese, and I love it, but I feel it in my joints. So not as soon as I eat it, but that night, I'll be like, oh, like I feel the achiness coming back. But it's been amazing to feel my body like becoming strong. And Matt's been gone. He's been in Australia for 2 weeks. And it's been neat him seeing the change, like coming back. Like he like was feeling my leg, and he's like, feel that. Like your legs are strong again. I was an athlete before, and so I was more muscular, but I feel like I've been more bones and just frail. I felt very weak. So like someone bumps into me, it hurts really bad. So yeah, there's all sorts of things that I've tried, and I think reasons behind it, but I just, I don't know. Thank you for all of those that told me try carnivore. I miss real food, I'm not gonna lie, but I feel really good. So I'm just eating a lot of beef. For Thanksgiving, I did a keto cup. So it's like super, I think it's like cacao, coconut fat, and I don't know what else is in it. It's a very simple ingredient. So I had that as like my special treat. I may do that for Christmas. I'm trying to figure it out. Or maybe bring in a couple of berries. I don't know. Any of you that have done carnivore and have experience, especially those with health issues, I would love for you to give me information in the comments below. What's worked for you, what hasn't. Yeah, there's like carnivore bread and different things I played with. But for me, I find it's beef. So when I had done it during Lent, I felt really sick on Fridays and Wednesdays, and I wasn't eating meat. I was eating probably 12.5 eggs. I would eat like a big thing of salmon. I would eat sardines. I would eat tuna. But there's something, I don't know what it is. There's something from beef that I feel the best when I have beef. So yeah, I'll do bacon. I'll do other things, but just Yeah, the beef for some reason for me is like, I know Michaela also says bison. I haven't gotten bison. I haven't been around anyone with bison. Lamb, I'll do lamb as well, but it costs more. So I think that's why I tend to stick with beef. But yeah, I just wanted to give you an update on my diet stuff, my journey with it. Yeah, like we've had a lot of sickness come through our house lately. And I have gotten it. I know some people are like, I do carnivore and I never get sick again, or I do intermittent fasting and I've never been sick. I'm still getting sick. I'm getting over a cold. I'm just getting my voice back. I'm hoping that I'll have it later this week for another interview I have scheduled. My voice is coming and going. I haven't been sleeping much. I've been caring for a really precious, sweet baby for the last couple of months, which has been such a gift. But yeah, so the other day at Franciscan at Mass, we were praying, and Franciscan Masses, noon Mass is an hour, even though it's like daily Mass. It's an hour long, and most of the time that I've gone to Mass there, I can't kneel at all because I'll dislocate and it's really painful. And I'm sitting. Sometimes like I can't stand all the way through, like I try to stand for the gospel. That's like the one. I'm like, I'm going to stand for this. I'm going to stand. But my body's just too weak and I get lightheaded and faint and dizzy. And so I'm like, okay, I got to sit down. And so I just, yeah, feel very frail. And it's very humbling, but like uniting myself to the cross and like, all right, Lord, you suffered so much more than me. Yeah, it's humbling. I gave a talk last year at Seek, the Focus Conference on suffering, and they've asked me to do the same talk this year, and I will. But it's really humbling because I know other people do suffer a lot more. I know that I have suffered, and there's been a lot of suffering, and but it is humbling to meet people that I know suffer more than me, and but praise God, like we all have our cross, and He gives us the grace to get through it. In this moment, He gives us the grace for right now. We don't necessarily have the grace for what's going to happen in a month from now, but we have it for right now, right? But I had this time, I was at Mass this past week, and I was bouncing this little girl that I've been looking after. And so I'm bouncing, holding a baby, and the entire Mass, I didn't sit down. She was a little fussy, and she just was ready for bed. And so I was just rocking and bouncing her. And at one point, I felt like the Lord would be like, look at you. And I was like, oh my goodness, Jesus, you are so good. I'm standing. I stood all of Mass. And not only was I standing, I was like doing this, you moms know, you like the mom dance, right? Where you're like tightening your core and your legs and you're kind of, holding this sweet baby in the carrier. And I just was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Like, I don't know if this is like, I know it's not the end of my suffering journey, but I don't know if I am coming to the end of a chapter of physical suffering that has been really, really hard and brutal for the last, 5 years. It's been a lot, to a new chapter, and that would be wonderful and amazing. But it may not. So Seek last year when I gave the talk for suffering, I could barely stand. I had to have my special compression pants on that like hold all my joints in, and I literally was hanging on the podium. So horrible stage presence, but that's where I was at. So right now I feel good and strong. So I feel like I'll be on stage and I'll be able to talk, interact with people, be fine. I'm feeling more, more toned, more muscular. I'm not working out, but I feel like I almost can work out. So I had this experience where I was praying on like this dock, and I just had praise and worship music going, and it's actually Heather Kim has this Advent worship. So if you're listening, I know a lot of y'all listen to Abiding Together. Heather Kim mentioned this Advent worship playlist on Spotify, and so I listened to that, which I loved. I'll try to put a link in here, or I'll get my girl to put the link on here. But I did that, and I was just worshiping, and I felt like I think I could do push-ups. So I just like started doing push-ups on this pier. I did like 10 push-ups. They were pretty pathetic, but I did them, where like a month ago I couldn't have done a push-up. And then I did some like lunges and some, some little basic workout things, but I felt strong, and I've been walking every day, and I'm not to the point where I'm like, I'm going to go to the gym, but I feel like I'm really close to that point, which is exciting. But I feel like at the same time, when I feel like, so I do think a lot of it is the carnivore diet. I know it's not right for everyone. I talked to my doctor about it. She's like, I'm not pro a lot of people doing this, but but you've only, like at the time, I only lost 5 pounds. She's like, I'm not concerned about your weight. We're going to keep watching it. But I've actually put on more weight, which has been great. And I think I'm putting on weight like in my bones and muscles. I don't know if that's a thing, but that's where I feel like my bones are just stronger. And the last time I got adjusted by my chiropractor, he said the same thing. He's like, your joints like are good. Like he adjusted me, but he's like, things are staying a lot better. Where before I was like a Raggedy Ann doll, you know, and everything was kind of, or Gumby, like everything was coming in and out. And yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to share all that with you. But I do feel like I've been switching from a place of physical suffering to like an emotional, spiritual, my heart's been pierced suffering. And so it's been interesting and just like praying through that. And yeah, I think I've shared with y'all somewhat. I read The Body Keeps the Score and just trying to address trauma and wounds and just heal through that. And just I have personal things going on in my life that is very much my heart is out there and getting broken and hurt and then coming back, nurturing, giving back. And it's a lot that I'm not going to share with you, but it's a lot of heavy heart stuff. One thing I can share with y'all is my sister Meridith. Thank you so much for all of your prayers. I will actually put Meridith's, they have a GoFundMe link, and I'll put it on here. My older sister Meridith, we're 14 months apart, and she was diagnosed with brain cancer. Her melanoma spread to her brain, and so I know a lot of y'all were praying a while back for me when she was having brain surgery. Thank you so much. I especially want to thank all the people out at TAC. Thomas Aquinas College is where I was when she was having surgery, and I found out that they weren't able to get it all. She has tumors that are not operable, but they got one of the tumors out. But it was supposed to be like a 4-hour brain surgery that was like 9 hours. And anyhow, she is a fighter, and Meridith is she's a fighter. And by God's grace, she will persevere and continue fighting. We had a hiccup a few days ago, and she had a seizure and banged her head again. And she's not great right now. So just continued prayers, please. I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, and so that's another suffering, you know? Yeah, seeing my sister who like teaches CrossFit and like Texas Fit Chicks, all these classes, and like works out and is like crazy buff, and her going from that and looking like an optimal picture of health to brain cancer is crazy. So yeah, just praying, and yeah, thank you for your prayers. Actually, why don't we just say a quick prayer all together, if you don't mind. Lord God, I thank you so much for my wonderful sister Meridith. I thank you for her joy, for her knowing you, Lord, and for you giving her the grace she needs right now. I pray, Lord, that you lessen her suffering, that you give her the strength to unite her suffering to you, to the cross, and you may draw her close to you. And I pray for all those that are suffering from cancer right now. I know so many people that are, and I pray that you just bless and heal them and draw them close to you. Amen. Thank you. I'm seeing all these comments. I should like read and comment back. You're thinking of doing carnivore. Yeah, try it. It may help with PCOS, and you're trying to eat healthier. Yeah, so here's one thing. So I think a lot of people that try carnivore, if you try anything, so if you're a normal standard American diet and you switch to carnivore, Whole30, keto, paleo, any of those, honestly, even veganism or vegetarian, I mean, I'm like, I was joking with someone who's a vegan. I don't know if he's vegan or vegetarian. Anyhow, he does it for his heart. And I was joking. I was like, I feel like there's too many of y'all in the world. So I'm trying to like offset it. So I'm only eating things that you're not eating. And yeah, but if you do that, I feel like you get rid of all the processed crap. So America, I know you guys are from all over the world, but a lot of you are in North America. Actually, Australia, y'all are just as bad as us, I think. No offense, but most English-speaking countries, we eat horrible, and we have so much processed junk. So just by cutting all of that out and stop drinking sugar drinks, like juices, like people that put juices in bottles for kids or sippy cups, I'm like, that's just pure sugar in a liquid form. Like your body can't handle that. So just cutting out all that gunk, I think you'll feel so much better. but I had already done that. And I felt better after, like, I cut out nightshades, I cut out lectins, and like every step I felt better. But then I think I was eating things that I'd flare up and react to that I wasn't aware of what they were. And even now, so like nuts are good for you, but I think I was overdoing the almonds, and I think that affected me. So I don't know, it's interesting. Yeah, my joints don't hurt so much now. So try carnivore, give it, yeah. I think they say, I think honestly, because last time I did it for 40 days, so I'm probably more at like 90 days now. I think you need to give it more. So the 40 days wasn't enough for me, so I quit after Lent last year. I slowly brought in food again, but this time I feel like I'm really feeling it that much more. Greetings from Poland, yay! Praise you, Jesus. Yay, thanks everyone for joining. I love that you're nursing a baby right now. That's so great. I love babies. I love breastfeeding. I'm not going to breastfeed your baby, but I love, I'm going to do an episode on it. But just enjoy this time with your baby. Like, I think that's the holiest hour you can do right there. It's good to go and pray at the chapel and have a holy hour, but the more intimate holy hour, I think, is you breastfeeding your baby. So in the middle of the night when you're up, look at that precious baby and you're saying, this is my body given up for you. And you're literally feeding your baby from your body, and your baby who's the overflow of love from you and your husband. It's amazing. It's so beautiful. So enjoy that baby. Yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an update. Thank you very much. Thank you for the prayers. As I said, I don't think this is a, yay, look at me, I'm cured video, but I do want to inform you on what's going on. I'm off all my prescription medications, which is pretty great. In fairness, before I started carnivore, like I had a pretty strict diet. So like the main things I cut out of my diet were like vegetables, plantain chips, which I really miss, which I think technically is a vegetable, and coconut. Like, I miss my coconut cream and things like that, and nuts, and seeds. I was doing a lot of seeds too. So I don't know what I was having that was causing my body problems. And I'm not sure why exactly it is with me doing carnivore. My guess, I'm not a medical person, but my guess is my body is burning fat. I had issues with fat before, but now I am like consuming so much fat and I'm burning a lot of fat, and it's making my body stronger. And it's great. Yeah, it feels really good. I'm praying for the grace to get through Christmas. It's going to be hard. I'm going home, and my mom's an amazing cook, and my sister makes beautiful sourdough bread that I don't have gluten, but I could actually eat her bread. I don't react to it. She lets it ferment long enough, but I don't think I'm going to have it. Sorry, Kirsten. She just had a baby, so it's fine. She probably doesn't want to be cooking me bread. But yeah, holidays are really hard. And so I know a lot of people are like, I'll start this in the new year. And I'm like, please, God, give me the grace to continue to offer up the things that I am missing so that I can be there for my family, and I can be strong, and I can do more things. So like going for walks with my kids, or So we'll see. We'll see when. So other fun announcement: we're going to Austria in January. So two fun things. One is hopefully I'll see you at Seek. I know there's like, I don't know, 40,000 of y'all, a bunch of y'all, college age students are going to be at St. Louis for the 1st through 5th. I really look forward to seeing you there. Please come up, say hi. I'd love to chat with you. We are, Matt and I are doing something. We're doing a couple things together. I forget what they are. And then I'm doing one of the women's keynotes. And then I'm doing a breakout talk. I forget what they call it. Seek kind of has their own language for things. And I'm doing like a normal talk. One's on suffering, one's relationships for the women's session. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But then Matt is teaching. He's co-teaching a class next semester with our good friend Rob McNamara in Austria. And so I'm really excited to be there. And yeah, it'll be interesting. It's going to be crazy. My body always feels better when I love this town. I love Steubenville. I love the people. But I always feel better when I'm not here. So we're going to not be here for a whole semester. And I think he may be teaching a summer class too. So we may be in Austria through the summer. Any of you that are students at Franciscan or want to take classes, I'd love to see you over there. It's in Gauming. It's like a small, it's apparently beautiful and amazing. And any of you that have been, any advice for me or my kids, please write it in the comments below too. Yeah, I'm really excited. I've heard bring warm winter clothes because there's snow everywhere and it's cold right now. My kids they've been sledding, but I don't think they've ever been skiing. They were too young when we lived in Canada. So I'm excited for just all these new exciting things. But I'm excited to just really natural, fresh foods, and we'll see. Right now, I'm planning on eating normal food when I get there, but we'll see. For now, it's been beef, beef broth, butter, and eggs. So that's pretty much my diet right now. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. I encourage you, if you have health issues and you've been debating, you might as well try it. And you may be like me, I had to try it a couple times, but you really need to make sure you're eating enough. Like, I feel like if I wrote down what I'm eating a day, especially in the beginning, I feel like I could have had, like, I would have a plate and the whole thing was a steak. And I wanted fatty steaks. Like filet mignons used to be my favorite. I don't want them anymore. I want a ribeye. I want a T-bone. I want lots of fat. And like Matt and I will both have like a big steak, and then he gives me all the extra fat from his. I know it's really gross, but I love it. But in the beginning, I would have like at least 3 of those a day, which I think is ridiculous. But my body, like, that's the thing when you're doing carnivore, they're like, just keep eating. Like, if you're hungry, keep eating. I know a lot of carnivores that can do cheese as well, no problem. I can't. But yeah, other people can. I felt like I could do raw milk for a little bit. Or maybe I just really wanted to be able to do it, but maybe, yeah, it wasn't good for me. So I don't know why. Dairy is not my friend. But yeah, that's me right now. That's what's going on. Thank you so much for all the prayers. Any of you that have dealt with similar health issues or diet issues, please write it in the comments below what you're doing, especially around the holidays. Like, if you are another carnivore person, I don't identify as carnivore. Because I don't like being put in a box. I think that's why. So people are like, oh, you're carnivore. I'm like, no, I'm Cameron. I'm a daughter of God. That's my identity. But if you are someone that also partakes of the fattiness of eating a lot of meat, let me know any of your other tips or tricks. Write it in the comments below. I would really appreciate it. All right. God bless. Bye.